Coming up in today's video, blood drips and Scoopy. I don't know. We have some staple type things. We have eyeballs, eyeball, and using inappropriate tools for the job. Hello gang, hello friends, hello gang friends. Let's get gory. Hi, how are you? Welcome back. Hi. Thanks for being here. I've wanted to do something like this for ages, so today is the day. We're going to start with Bring My Latte from Madame Glam, where you can get a whopping 30% off using the link in the description and the code MISSJO30. Lots of links for lots of places and lots of codes for lots of discounts in the description. Okay, we're going to start with a red jelly. I'll show you which products they are a bit later because I've put these in a different order. So this is a red jelly and I'm putting a bead on the end of my brush, letting it fall onto the nail, and then as I pull up, really making sure to lift the brush off the nail almost. I mean, not completely, otherwise nothing will happen, but just really light pressure on it so it's nice and thin as it pulls up to the top. And then we're going to curve out, always curve out the bits between your blood drips. So you don't want a straight line with blood dripping down. And then I'm going to use the product from the bead as a palette, not that, this, just to fill in the top. Because it's a jelly, if it is a bit thicker at the bottom, it's not going to be as bad as if it was an opaque colour, like curing wise, because it's jelly, so the light can penetrate it a bit better. Penetrate. And that's step one of this nail. Actually, it's step two. We painted the nail. Just fill that in. Wipe this off. Yeah, I didn't like that one. It wasn't thin enough. So we'll try again. That brush I used to wipe off is from Temu. And it's really good. See, I'm just making a little beady ball and then pulling up nice and thin and then curving out the top bits. There we go, in the lamp. And now I'm going to matte it with the Madame Glam Velvet. I'm going to velvet it and then cure. And then we're going to take their art gel. Oh, dead hand. Oh, pins and needles. And we're going to pick up a bead, very small bead, and let it fall onto the blood drip. But again, I want to leave this bit thicker because I'm lifting up, vertically up from the nail as I put that on there to kind of get a peak. You know, when you're like whipping cream, you want to get little peaks. So you would pull the fuck am I talking about whipping cream for? You would pull the whisk up and you'd get a peak. That's what we want to do with the brush and the gel. And then I don't think I am touching the nail much as I go up here, just letting a little string go up. And I am flash curing each of these as I go so that it doesn't self-level. You know, we want to keep it nice and bulbous, if you will, goopy. So I'll flash cure those in place and then we can just thicken up this top bit. But we don't want it too thick, but thicker than flat. And then we can cure this. I think the art gel cures tack-free, but I think it's not as shinier finish as a top coat. So I think I went over them with top coat after this. So you might see it at the end. It doesn't look any different, but yeah. So that's we're going to do two like that. So we've got two like that. And then we're going to take this solid builder gel, which I think is also from Temu. I'm going to scoop some out. I'm going to use my hands. Don't be mad at me, okay? The second I've done with it, I isopropyl my hands and clean them and stuff. I just don't get on with this stuff with gloves, so just, you know, get over it. In the nicest possible way. So I've made a little wiggly worm I'm going to take the Madame Glam silicone tool and pat it down. See, what I want to do is make the transition from nail to blob of this stuff. So I want to make it smooth. I don't want it just to be plonked on. I want it to be a nice smooth transition. So I'm dipping my silicone tool, which obviously isn't bristles, it's silicone. So it's not holding any water, isopropyl alcohol, but it's wet. And then I'm just smudging where the, what are we calling this stuff? 3D gel, should I call it 3D gel? Sculpting gel? It has so many different names. Can we all write in the comments what we should be calling it? Because I just don't know. I'm going to call it, I don't know. So I sped this up because instead of cutting it, and then you may be trying it and going, this isn't working, it's taking me ages. Don't worry, it took ages to try and get it smooth. And then once we tried to get it smooth all the way round, I'm going to press inside in the middle of our line of 3D gel. Let's just go with that for this video. It will change next time. But then where I did that, it made the transition from the side of it to the nail a bit harsh again. Oh, here I'm just pushing. See, I'm pushing out a bit so we get this nice valley, because we're going to fill that with blood, real blood. Yeah, I sacrificed some virgins to use the blood for nail art, all in the name of art. And then, so I've got this valley, and then I'm going over again with the silicone tool dipped in some IPA, just to smooth out, you know, skin doesn't have any sharp edges. So I'm just trying to smooth that out, and then again going back and trying to smooth out the sides a bit. I'll show you my first attempt at this. It looks bloody awful at the end of this nail. Okay. I'm doing that thing again where I can't talk and breathe at the same time. Right, I'm going over it with the Bring My Latte. I'm not worrying too much if it's not going inside the valley, because that's not what we want anyway. So I'm going to scrape that out with a cuticle stick. And I can't remember if I did 1 or 2 coats of this. I think I did 2. So maybe just build the wound on base coat, cured base coat. Oh, this is the red jelly we used. Born Pretty one. I'll list it in the description. Everything will be in there. What was I saying? Yeah, maybe just build the wound on the base coat, because you're going to double top anyway, so you could get the background at the same time. But not top, like go over with the nudie colour. So I'm taking the breath. I'm taking the Madame Glam Ultra Liner, and I'm just going to fill this crevice with the Born Pretty jelly. Again, it doesn't matter if it's a bit thicker than you would normally do an opaque gel polish. I mean, don't go crazy, don't fill it up really thick, but because it's jelly, it will cure better than if it wasn't. I'm just going to add some splodges. Didn't like that splodge, but thought, no, don't try and purposefully make it anything. It's just spatter. So just do some spatters, and don't overthink what they look like. Because it's random. Beg your pardon. And then once we've done that, we are going to cure. Yeah, this is a second attempt. The first attempt I did, I was editing the video. I did all 3 of this nail and the next 2. I redid them all, because I just wasn't happy when I was editing them. Editing them. Did I say that right? So I did them all again, and you'll see the difference. So this is velvet top coat again. We'll see how I put it on, but then I'm kind of scraping it off here. Just a nice thin layer. We don't want to start filling in any of the depth we've created, you know, especially through the middle bit. So I'm going to go through that again with a cuticle stick, and then cure. And then I'm taking, okay, so now it's all velvet. I'm going to shiny over all the blood, even the tiny bits, but you know, you don't have to worry too much about being absolutely perfect over the tiny bits. Just give a little wiggle over them. So now our blood's all nice and shiny. Imagine if blood was a matte liquid. Wouldn't that be weird? But then we'd be saying, wouldn't it be weird if it was shiny? Okay, over there, over the blood. And then, again, just going, sort of dragging it out the valley because we want there to be that dip. And then I'm taking the art gel again and some of these little semicircle things. I'm going to put a dot either side of the wound. I don't know what's happened to this poor person. They've had a terrible day of it. And then we're going to put one of those things over it, like a staple. So you can get different sizes of these. So if you need to do some smaller than others, that's fine. Or if it's not wide enough, you can use some tweezers or pliers or something and stretch them out. So make the curve of this thing shallower if your wound is wider. And then you have to kind of hold it in place. Well, depending, one of them on my first attempt, I dipped them in this gel and they stayed there upright. So still flash cured as I went so they didn't fall down. But this one I had to kind of balance it and hold onto it for a few seconds in the lamp. And then I've just gone over where they join the nail with a bit more art gel. If you're doing this on you or a person, top coat over the silver things so they don't go discoloured. So that's that. I'm very happy with it because look at attempt number 1. I mean, it's somewhat vaginal looking. I tried to add shading on the sides, but I did it after matte top coating, so it was just awful. So this one looks a lot neater. Second attempt just goes to show, you know, you do something a second time, you've learnt a lot. You know what you would change and you can do it better. I did consider waiting until next year to try and improve it, but I just thought, no, I have to redo these. So now we've got a big circle and we're flattening it on the nail, but I want to kind of raise it, almost want to make like, you know, like where meteors hit the moon or crater. There we go. It's because I've just been looking at moon stuff. It's a super moon tonight. Have you seen it? Oh, it's amazing. So big and so low. And then I'm splitting open this circle at the bottom in the middle. And then I'm just kind of dragging the sides down a bit. But again, we're going to, oh, that was annoying. Kept coming off there where I was putting so much pressure down. And I couldn't push it on properly because I'd have to push where my 3D gel is. So we're getting the shape we want. And then I'm making a big hole in the middle. And bringing that hole down so that it's split. This is like an eye socket and it's split. Imagine your lower lash line split like that. And then again, using some IPA to just smooth out the transition. This was a bit fiddly because as I'm smoothing it out, I'm changing the shape of it from the top view, which is not what I want. So I had to smooth it out, remake the shape in the middle, you know, get my dotting tool to make it circly again. And then that would have changed the transition from the nail to 3D gel. So just kind of kept at it really, but making sure that this bit in the middle that we're poking around now is the nail, like it goes right the way down to the nail, the gap. And then I think where I smushed some of this out, I had a bit of excess that I could chop off. But again, just showing you the whole thing, but sped up because who's got the time? So that you can see that, you know, it took a while, but it was quite enjoyable, you know? It's like playing with plasticine again. So a lot of this, making sure that this opening here, the bits where it's split as they come down, I'm having them sort of come down and then fade into the nail. And then we can cure it like that. So that's what we've got at the moment. What shape would you describe that as? A broken dripping circle. That will do. And then again, we're going to cover it with Bring My Latte. And then I think I did do 2 coats just because the levels of everything are so wibbly wobbly and up and down. There were some bits that weren't covered, and you don't want to lay it on too thick because it won't cure properly. But again, making sure that the valleys or the dips in these bits are not filled with product until now, where we're going to put the jelly red inside. And then I came up on the side there and got a bit on top, and I thought, actually, that's kind of what we want. We want it to be a little bit messy, an organised mess. So we'll fill this, but you don't need to fill it. I mean, cover the space, but don't fill it like a bowl. And bring that down. Wasn't sure how to bring that down. Just left it there, I guess. And just add some little splodges. There we go. Now we're going to mat everything. And then we'll work on our eyeball. Oh, wait till you see the first attempt at this. I just had it as an eyeball. I didn't have the thing open and dripping blood. And I thought, well, what is the Halloween aspect of an eyeball by itself? Surely it has to be in some kind of trauma state. This is also from Temu. It's a white 3D gel, putty, sculpty, buildy, hard, soft, I don't know. Make a ball. You don't have to use your fingers, but I am. And I'm pressing it in there, and it kind of went into a bit of an oval shape, but I thought it kind of looked okay because it matched the, when you look at someone's eyeball, you don't see it round, you see it the shape of an open eyelid. Yeah. Okay, cure. We are taking dynamic blue and black and also white Madame Glam gel paints, and we're going to do a little blue circle with the ultraliner brush. You all okay? How is everybody? I had a good weekend. Rosie was here for the weekend. We made a Vicky sponge. We had Domino's. We had Ben & Jerry's. Against my protests, she ended up with a set of nails. And we put some pink in her hair. So it's a great way to send her back to her mum. Junk food, dyed hair and fake nails. But that's what aunties are for. So we're going to now take the blue. This blue is amazing. How nice is that blue? Ugh. And we're going to do a line around this, but make it a little bit thicker than what you want it to be. Just a tiny bit. We're talking like minuscule scale. A tiny bit thicker, because we're then going to pull in from this line towards the center of the circle. So if you imagine this blue line, no matter how thin a line is, it's got one side and another side, like a top and a bottom, to the left of the line, to the right of the line. But we want to go inside the line, but not push beyond the line. So we want to go halfway into this line and then do little strokes towards the center. I do come out of it a bit, but I'll wipe that up. I found I was clearing up a lot after Rosie, which is fine. Love her more than life itself, but turn a light switch off once in a while. Clearing up after yourself is boring enough. Clearing up after other people, let's do something really fun and make a mess, and then you just carry on and crack on with the rest of the day. I'll clear it up. It's just not for me. Okay, so that's what we have, just bringing in little strokes. Don't worry about being neat, because it's really small. And then I'm just going to wipe away any bits that I got on the white. And then we can add our little black pupil. You could use a dotting tool, but the surface we're painting on is curved. No, it's not that much of a curve that it wouldn't be okay with a dotting tool. So ignore what I just said. But we're using a brush just to do a little black dot. Couldn't see what I was doing. Not just because it was small, but because the black's shiny, and your brush, when you put your brush in the black polish on the nail, the tip of your brush just disappears amongst it and you can't really see what you're doing. I'm going to add a white dot. I do add a second one, but I wiped that off before I went in the lamp. I thought it was too much. There we go. Eyeball. And now we're going, oh yeah, we're going to add little wiggly bits. What are they? The strings that hold your that hold your eye in your head. The blood vessels? No. Veins? I don't know. But we'll add some of those and then we'll cure that as well, I think. Will we? Make your mind up. There we go. And then, oh yeah, so I'm going to mix some of the art gel with some of the red jelly. Because I thought instead of painting with the red jelly, what I want to do now, and then going over it and building up gloopiness with the art gel, it's going to be easier to mix it with it because I'm going to be going over an area that's not smooth. If you do this, make sure you wipe whatever you're picking up from the art gel, using to pick up from the art gel before you go back into it to pick up more. And then I'm letting this hang down and form a bead on the end of my brush, and then going to let that bead fall. See, I'm working I'm lifting up vertically and then lifting up very lightly so it strings towards that, and then get that shit in the lamp. However, I went a bit too far over to the right, so I had to be a bit more careful with this one so that they didn't join and touch each other. And I think this one I just ended without going all the way up to the eye hole, which I only realised when editing. And again, making sure there that I was having the product I've picked up on my brush form a big bead at the bottom, because I want to build these up even more. I want them to be really big, gloopy blood drips. If we're going to do gloopy, let's just do really bloody gloopy, you know? And then cure. And then, oh no, we do have to do some more bits on this. We need to top coat. So we're going to shiny top the eyeball and everywhere where there's blood. Just so it's all shiny. And then I'll show you the first one. The first one actually looks a bit more gory, where this has a kind of a somewhat cartoony vibe. The other one definitely looks like it's experienced something quite tragic. So we're going to top these and then we'll cure it, and that will be this one, I believe. Oh, come the fuck on, Bridget. Oh, do you know what I haven't done? I haven't done the new winner of the sticker giveaway. I haven't announced it yet, which is ridiculous because the envelope full of them is on my desk. But it's there, so it's been there for so long that I don't notice it now, you know? I need to do that. I wonder if I can get it done in this video. Maybe the next one, because I need to go through all the comments, don't I? So that's this one. That's a little side view. Okay. I like the jelly blood. Looks really good. Oh, look at the state of this one. I mean, it's freaking awful, isn't it? But I mean, it's not smooth to the transition from the thing to the nail isn't smooth. There's, yeah. It's just a bit, but crap. But, you know, first attempt to second attempt. Big difference. Okay, the last one. We're going to spread some of this out over the nail. You don't have to go over the entire nail, but you do want to spread it out. I see people do this in like short videos, you know, 30-second or 1-minute clips, and they're like pat, 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 and it's evenly all over the nail. Absolutely not. That did not happen for me. It took ages, especially trying to make it so that a side view was still the sort of apex that you would want from the side. Whereas the first one's the side, right, okay, try again. The first attempt at this, the side view's all wibbly wobbly and lumpy bumpy, whereas I was trying to make this still be, you know, the shape of the apex that you would have. So again, using IPA and this silicone tool to sort of smooth it out. And really I was just slapping a bunch of IPA on it and just rubbing over it to try and get it smooth. Not like my voice. My voice has gone all croaky. I don't know why. Rosie said she had tonsillitis recently, so if I've caught anything from her, I'm going to throw myself out the window because I don't like being ill It's terrifying. Right, patty pat pat. Keep checking it from the side. You see what I mean? And there's some bits that I can probably take off where we've stretched it out enough. We don't want it super, super tall. We just want it thick enough that we can cut into it and leave a valley. So I think that was okay enough. And then I used my new scissors. Could have used a blade, which I found in the drawer later, but forgot it. I didn't know it was in there. I did. I just forgot. So I'm using my scissors just to make some cut marks. On the first one, I used the silicone tool and used, like, you know, the point of it to go along and like this bit, but make lines like that. And it wasn't as neat. So if you've got something that you can do this with, just a knife, just your butter knife will be fine. Just to get some straight streaks, and then just making them a bit deeper here and trying to make them so that the ends of them are pointy, so that they look like they're done with really sharp nails or something. And then just making them make what am I doing? Just making them deeper. And then same as the others, we will cover it with the nude again. Does anybody have any tips on talking and breathing at the same time? I do it all day long. I've done it my whole life. I've managed to talk and breathe. But just when I sit down to do this, I can't. It's like an assembly when they'll be like, right, Joe, you've got to do this in assembly or something. Get up on the stage and talk. And I'd be like, hi. You know, it's not a fear thing. It's just my brain doesn't know what to do. And we're going to fill these with the red jelly. I think a jelly is really good for blood as opposed to an opaque red, because it's a bit more realistic. You know, it has a bit more depth to it as well, because you can sort of see through it a bit, or it's just got, yeah, if you've got a red jelly, use that for blood instead of a fully opaque one, unless you're doing like blood drips on a black background. A jelly one wouldn't show up as much, but on lighter things, I think it looks really cool. Okay, in the lamp. Oh no, add some spattery bits for Dexter Morgan to figure out how this happened, how this came to be. I am not up to date on the new one, because I did have, it's on Paramount, isn't it? And I did have Paramount, but then changed the Sky TV plan and don't have it now. So I'm thinking I'll wait until they've all been out, which they might have been by now actually. And then I'll just do like a 1 month or free trial or something. Even if it's like a 1 day free trial, I can binge watch an entire series in a day, easy. It's my special skill. Okay, more blood, just making it look a bit less neat, you know, so those lines aren't perfectly neat with the blood. And then we'll velvet, scoop out any velvet from these bits. Not because we don't want them velvet, because that doesn't matter, we're going to go over them with top. But because we don't want to fill the valley. Oh, and then this bit, I don't keep in, but I wanted to show you in case you liked it. So I'm adding some art gel and then these tiny little straight strips. I thought, oh, they'd look like staples or something if I could do them in X's, but I thought, well, I can't do them in bloody X because one would have to sit on top of the other. So I decided to take them off, but I thought I'd show you in case you liked it. And then we can fill the blood bits with top coat, but again, trying not to fill the whole thing. And I suppose you could, on this nail, and the first one, but maybe not the eyeball. Oh no, you could probably all of them just paint all of this on without making them 3D. But it is quite nice that these feel, you know, you can feel and see that they are depth, you know, deep into the skin. And that's it from the, so that's this one, this is it from the side. And just to show you comparison to the first one, a lot more blood going on there. But look how wibbly wobbly that whole thing is compared to the new one. The new one kind of looks like a baguette on the side. Do you see? I put too much blood on as well, but I didn't smooth out the 3D gel enough, or at all by the looks of it. So now we can have a little satisfying tidy up. I was watching, what was I watching? That new thing beginning with W, was it? Wanderers? No, what's it called? With Toni Collette and the sort of cult thing, Wayward. It was all right. It's a bit of a slow burn, wasn't it? And I find it difficult to sort of enjoy things where it's like a cult, because I'm like, is anyone that stupid to believe some weird cult leader and get into all that stuff? I mean, obviously, history proves they are, but yeah, it was all right. I don't mind it when we don't know what's going on, but don't make us not know what's going on for too long, because then I'm just annoyed at you. Like, you know, I just want to know what's going on. What's going on here? Right, we're going to have a nice tidy up, give everything a good old clean. And then we can have a look at the final set. Let me know what you want to see next with the latest Madame Glam collection. I have got an idea. I need to film maybe tonight or tomorrow. So let me know as soon as you see this. If there's anything in particular you want to see. One of you asked for a neon pumpkin. Did you mean, have I asked this already? Did you mean like a neon sign or like just a neon 3D pumpkin? Oh, look, I found this. Yep, just checking, it's sharp. I'm the person who touches the sign that says do not touch baking hot surface, you know, in the chippy. You have to touch it just to see. And this is them, those, the. What do you think? I really like them, and I think it's because they just look better than the first lot. So I was much happier to put these out there into the world. I hope you like them. Would you wear them? Would you wear a set like this for Halloween? I think it'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Or even just to try it, just to work on your nail skills, you know, little challenge. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I love to hear from you. I love to read about what you're all up to, what you're doing, what's going on in your life, because I'm nosy. But I do like to hear from you. And if you can, hype the video. I think that's a function that's rolled out in some places. But if not, then just like, comment and subscribe. I appreciate you being here so much. I really, really do. And I will see you in the next one. Oh, no, wait. We've got a better way of doing this. Bye-bye.